Well, hey everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen for another cleaning and organizing video. So if you saw my video where I did my refrigerator clean out and my massive produce prep, I said before that I am slowly and surely working my way through this house one room at a time. So we're still in the kitchen, and today I'm focusing on my spice drawer. So holiday baking has officially commenced, and it is a busy time of year for a lot of people for cooking. So it's time to get in that spice drawer, get things organized and tidy so they're easy to find, easy to access, so it makes your job in the kitchen a little bit easier. So we're gonna be working on that today. As always, I will have everything that I use to get this drawer organized linked down below, so check that out if you're wondering where I got things or what exactly I'm using. So I buy all of my spices and herbs in bulk from my Whole Foods market here in town or from Costco. I do all of my baking from scratch, all of my cooking from scratch, so I like to have a lot of things on hand. So my spice drawer has gotten completely out of control, so it's time to take back control and get it organized. So I'm gonna show you the before, I'll show you the after, and everything in between. So let's get started. All right, so this is what I like to have out when I'm getting ready to kind of tackle projects around our house, i.e. reorganizing things, cleaning things, or just moving things around. Label maker and scissors. These are just a bunch of different essential oil cleaners. Storage jars, so these are just wide mouth glass canning jars, and I take the metal lids off and the rings and I replace those with different plastic lids that I have. So I have some pour spout lids and some different wide mouth plastic reusable lids. So I've had these for quite a long time. They actually work really well, so I prefer to use those versus the metal two-piece lids. And our spice drawer is right here. So let me show you what it looks like. So this is just driving me crazy. So we have a lot of bulk food jars in here. This is where I store like the main spices and things that we use, or things that I make, like taco seasoning, our bay leaves from the garden that I like to dry, onion powder, cumin, garlic powder, salt and pepper, cinnamon, and there's just a lot of spices that I use really frequently in here. I like to keep a recycling bag so I can put all the empty containers that we're going to recycle in one bag, and a bag for trash. I'm going to start by emptying everything out. I'm going to get my vacuum cleaner, vacuum out the drawer, and then I will slowly start putting things away as I organize them. Okay, so I vacuumed out the drawer, quickly sprayed it out with some cleaner and wiped it down, so now it's super clean. So let me show you. So starting from scratch, nice clean drawer, and everything has been put out up here. So now I can start organizing it back into the drawer. I'm going to take all my bulk spices that I have in my canning jars like this with the lids. I'm going to see if I have any duplicates that come in a smaller jar that I can add to this, and make sure that all my jars are labeled. So because these are in a drawer, it's really easy to pull it out, and I have the label on the top of the lid instead of on the side, so I know exactly what's in the jar instead of having to pull everything out and check the side of the jar to see what's in it. So once I have all the big jars sorted out and put back into the drawer, then I'm going to go through all my smaller bottles to see if there's things that I can combine together to try and eliminate having so many jars in my spice drawer. So in the past, when I've organized my spice drawers and or cabinets, I like to keep things organized according to how I use them. So spices and herbs that I use all the time, I keep on one side of my drawer, and then the things that I don't use as frequently, some seasonal items like nutmeg and cardamom and star anise and things like that, I keep on the other side. Now you can organize this however you want. I just find that keeping things in jars in general is a lot easier than having them in all these tiny spice jars from the store. So let me show you how I like to organize mine, and hopefully this will give you some ideas on how you can organize your drawer just to keep things a little bit more tidy and easy to access in your kitchen. So duplicates I also keep out of the drawer. So for instance, I have this huge jar of garlic powder here, and the jar is pretty full. And then I noticed when I opened up my spice cabinet, I have 2 other containers this size that I like to purchase at the bulk food store. So I removed the extra 2 containers. I'm gonna put these in my back pantry and just keep the 1 large wide mouth top jar in my spice drawer. So another thing is I actually have an entire cabinet that is just for baking items. So cinnamon, cocoa powder, different types of sugars, different types of flours, and all of the things that I need for baking, I keep in a different cabinet. So the cinnamon I will label and I will put in a jar and put it in the baking stuff and not down here with my other spices. So a lot of the spices in my spice drawer are from like big box stores like Costco and are in these plastic containers. I personally don't like keeping my spices in plastic containers. I also find that sometimes the top isn't big enough to put a tablespoon in, so I prefer to keep all of my spices in glass wide mouth jars, so it's easy when I'm cooking. If I need to measure something out, I don't have to try and pour stuff like this into a bowl to get it measured the right way. So I need to go purchase some of these gray lids for these regular mouth size jars. I don't have enough wide mouth, and most of these ones that I have aren't that full anyway. So I will go to the store or order on Amazon some of these leak-proof jar tops for the regular mouth ones. And if I know that I have certain spices and things that I make from scratch, so I'm just taking a jar and labeling it, and that way when I make my ranch dressing mix, I have a jar already labeled and put in my cabinet. So I've done that with a couple things in here, but this is also something I'm trying to do, so that way I know when I'm running low on something, I can make a huge batch of it all at once and I won't have to make this again for a while. So after all the reorganizing of all the spices, I have almost an entire bag of stuff that I have eliminated or condensed and combined into other jars, and some boxes from the jars that I used. So another thing that I like to do when I'm cleaning out any kind of drawer or cabinet or organizing something in my house is to have out a tablet of paper and a pencil to be making a list of something that I may need, or supplies or things that I may be running low on, so that way I don't forget on my next trip to the store or my next online order that I place. So if you don't like using a pencil and a tablet of paper, you can also make a e-list in the note section of your iPhone. I will sometimes do this as well, but for me, I really just found that pencil and paper works better. Sometimes the notes get erased off my phone on accident, so pencil and paper works best for me. After I've made all of my labels, I'll go ahead and put those on the jar lids just so I have them done when I need them. So if you're going to be using canning jars that you get at the store for your herbs and spices, hang on to those rings and those metal lids that come with the jars. If you like to put up any food at all, if you have a garden and you like to can things, it's really handy to have extra rings and lids that you don't have to buy more of. So in a corner drawer of my kitchen, I have a basket that is full of lids, so I always have them. If I have any extra kind of herbs or rices or grains that I want to put in a jar, I have extra lids on hand at all times. And here's a look at the spice drawer when it is completely done. I did end up going to the store to get some of those leak-proof lids. and I re-put the labels onto those gray lids instead. So now the entire drawer has consistency with the way the lids look, because that is just my personality type. And this turned out really well. It's been really functional for me. It's great to be able to stick tablespoons and teaspoons into the tops of the jar and know that they're going to fit in there with ease. If you're also looking for shaker lids, these are some that I purchased at my local hardware store actually. These are also made from ball. You flip up the little green top and the container itself is a shaker container. So this is just my everything but the bagel seasoning, and so we do like to keep that seasoning in one of those types of containers with a flip top lid. So I hope this spice drawer reorganization and cleaning gives you some ideas on how you can organize bulk spices and herbs that are easy to access in your kitchen. I think that accessibility is so important if you're doing a lot of cooking from scratch. Having things at your disposal that is easy to use and easy to grab really makes your job as a mom and cooking a lot easier. So thanks so much guys for joining me for another cleaning and organizing video in the kitchen. I hope this was helpful for you. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button if you're new here. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and I'll see you next time.